I mean, but once again, there's always a churn, right? There's always some young guys, typically guys, a lot of typically young white guys out there who have their flirtation with big L libertarianism, or who don't understand big L libertarianism, and who are actually conservatives. They come up and they divert attention from the work that really needs to be done. That's always going to happen. That's going to happen every 10 years or so. But overall, the whole movement has moved more towards the left than anything else. And we have partly
the work that you think needs to be done.
Well, the work that has to be done. I mean, it is the boring stuff that I start talking about, and no one wants to pay attention to. No one wants to pay attention to gerrymandering. No one wants to pay attention to open elections, or ranked choice voting, or Puerto Rico getting statehood, or Washington D.C. statehood. And I'll tell you this too. This is not a secret. If you're a content creator who looks like me, and you start talking about your support for Black Lives Matter, no one's interested in hearing that, or very few people are interested in hearing that. As comparison to the larger atheist community, as soon as you start talking about Black Lives Matter, people just tune out, or you'll get far less clicks. So you have to Trojan horse that stuff into your content, if that's what you're doing, that's what I'm doing.
So talk about satire and Trojan horsing things into your what are the things what is the strategy for slipping that in with a satirical perspective?
Yeah, there is. Well, first, I mean, there is a cursory look at the blog and my work, and also the satirical videos that I've worked on. Typically, I pick out a personality, a common personality that we all dislike, that many people dislike. Let's say Ted Cruz, right? Or during the Trump era. Heaven forbid the first Trump era, if there's ever a second Trump era, it would be the Donald J. Trump. And then you'd write something fantastical about that person. You'd write something, funny, something that's believable, but it yet reveals a truth. It reveals something, just like any other joke. It amplifies a characteristic or something horrible that they've done. And then you can have a chance in all that humor. You get to, for me, put in a couple of jabs about the hypocrisy of evangelicals or the Catholic Church, or some issues within the atheist community itself. Like, for example, I wrote one bit years ago that didn't get any traction either, about the local atheist who was going to an atheist meeting and didn't know which atheist clan he was going to, and so he was concerned about what topics he could bring up comfortably, because if you're in the skeptical group, if you're in the Penn Jillette libertarian lying, James Randi, may rest in peace, you're less likely to get friends and win friends and followers by talking about social justice issues, unfortunately.